friends, it's Mindy. Thanks for stopping back to my channel. I'm so glad that you stopped by. Today we are going to be doing a speed build. I actually started this build on stream. It's really awkward to talk on stream, but anyways, we'll talk about that here in a minute. So yeah, you're going to see me kind of struggle with this build a little bit in the beginning because I've actually attempted to do this several times, probably about 3 or 4 times I've attempted to build this building, and I had an idea in my head of what it was going to look like, but I guess I just couldn't execute it. I even did like a sketch on my notepad because I don't know, like I had an idea and I just couldn't get it down right. So I was doing this on stream and I think it turns out really well in the end. I realized like halfway through that I forgot a place for a bathroom and I didn't get the gym in how I wanted it. So, but I ended up making it all work. You guys will see. So yeah, anyways, I did a stream where I was building and it was so awkward. I don't know what to talk about. I guess like I kind of talked about like what I was putting, like why I was like building something in a certain space, but I don't know. I just felt so weird and there wasn't very many people, like there wasn't anybody at my stream. So that made it a little bit more awkward. And I don't know, I really want to keep streaming and like stream a little bit more than I already do. It's just, I have to like overcome that barrier, I guess. I also need to come up with more of a stream schedule because I would like to start streaming on a more regular basis. And I know that that is something that is really important to you guys, is that you have a particular schedule. So you know when I am going to be streaming or what hours work best for you. And I totally understand. I think that's like a tough thing for me to do. Like this whole, like since I started YouTube, it's been really tough for me to actually find a schedule and, or at least like come up with a schedule and stick to it because, you know, life happens and you don't always plan for it. And, you know, I do babysit for a living, so it's not like I can just do YouTube full time, although I wish I could. Unfortunately, I can't. But yeah, I'm going to try to come up with something because I do really enjoy streaming and I love the aspect of just being able to hang out with all of you guys and talk with you in person and just like as things are going. And I don't know, it gives it more, it gives my game a little bit more of a unique touch to it, I guess I feel like, because you know, you guys can chime in on like how maybe a Let's Play's going and I don't have to like wait for the comment section or any of that stuff. So yeah, anyways, my whole point in saying all of that is that, yes, it's really awkward to talk about building. I think it's easy when you're doing a Let's Play because you can talk about what your Sims are doing, but when you're just building, you're just like hanging out and building, and I'm an awkward person in general, so that's just my life. But I hope you guys are all doing well. By the time this video comes out, it will be Thanksgiving, so I hope you are enjoying time with your family, or if you don't celebrate Thanksgiving, I just hope that you're having a good day wherever you are. I know that my schedule is pretty busy for Thanksgiving. It's actually like the night before Thanksgiving, so for me. But I know my schedule is like pretty busy for tomorrow. I've got tons of family that I get to go see, which I'm really excited about. It's always nice to be able to get together with family and just kind of like hang out and play games and all that stuff and just focus on seeing them. I don't know, it's fun. That's why I really love the holidays, because it's just so cozy. Like, you know, you come home to a place where I don't know, it's like already like home for you, you know, and just to like have everybody there with you just makes it so much better. So I'm really excited for Thanksgiving and Christmas and kind of this kind of year where we all just get really festive, and I don't know, I feel like there's just a different type of calmness in the air. So yeah, I'm really excited for it. But anyways, through all of my rambling, you guys have kind of seen this building come together, and this is pretty much the basic shape that it's going to be. I love the way that I added these ceilings in. I actually learned how to do that from a Kate Emerald tutorial. It's where I learned to do like basically everything I know is from Kate Emerald. But I love that idea, and it's kind of like opened me up to like checking out new ideas, and I just wonder like how people come up with those things. Because like when we first get a pack out, you know, for instance, when we got Island Living, I remember the big thing was that people were figuring out how to build pools like in the water or build underwater. And that was such an amazing thing that somebody actually, first of all, thought up that idea, because I would have never thought. I mean, I was really disappointed when I saw that we couldn't put pools down, and I was like, wait, why can't we put pools down? But it never occurred to me that I could like try all these different options to like basically make the game let me, if that makes sense. So I'm just really baffled by some of the things that like people come up with, and the fact that they're able to like find these like workarounds, and it's amazing to me. I don't know. I'm just not one of those people, I guess. I'm a pretty creative person, I think, but I just can't. I don't know. I don't know. I guess I'm not that good. I don't know. Anyways, while I was putting this down, this is kind of like the common area. I noticed that this floor, just like random thing, this floor is like really crazy good texture. Like it looks like a cement floor, but it looks almost like it's got like a gloss over it. That's just a random side note, because I just remember thinking that when I put those tables down, I was like, wow, that's a really like detailed floor. Anyway, so this is kind of like the common area. There's a lunchroom down here, and I wanted a place for the Sims to go where your Sims to go where they could kind of have a decent meal, and that they're not just eating in their dorm rooms. So yeah, that was kind of like my primary focus. So I decided to put this little tiny cafeteria in here. And then I also add just kind of like a little lounge area. I also kind of figure this is where you would go if like, I don't know, you need information on the school, or if you need like a school schedule, as in like the yearly schedule or something like that. Just general information about maybe the areas around you. Maybe they're like, hey, you know, welcome to this town. You may not be from here, but you know, there's really good restaurants here, or really good nightclub here, those kinds of things. That's what I was going for. I don't really know how I landed on the yellow theme. I think it was just the couches. I just love it. This whole room reminds me of mac and cheese, I guess, but I don't know how I landed on the yellow theme, but I think it turns out really good. I really love those colors. I love that carpet. I think I'm probably going to be using it a lot more often. I wish that we had more plain carpets, or like different kinds of textures on our carpets, because I feel like that's one thing that we're really lacking in the game. But yeah, over here I'm just kind of trying to like make the little info center, and then I think that's pretty much it for that building. I move on to the dorm area. So there are 4 dorms in this room. There are 2 bedrooms in each dorm. I also realized that halfway through doing this that there were no bathrooms, and I don't know what I was thinking or not thinking, apparently, that it never occurred to me to have bathrooms in the dorm room. I don't know, like I was just doing this like blissfully unaware. I think you'll actually kind of like see a brief pause where it kind of just like clicks in my head, like, oh man, I didn't put bathrooms in here. So yeah, I end up making it work. I end up just like adding bathrooms at the last minute, but I think it turns out well. It works really good. Another thing that I added last minute were mini fridges, because I left those out too. So I don't know like what my deal was, but apparently I was so focused, I think, on the exterior of the build that I didn't put much thought into the interior, if that makes sense, while I was doing it. Of course, like while I was working on the interior, you know, I put a lot of thought into it, but yeah, so in here, this is a bedroom. I imagine that this person right here is maybe part of like the robotics team, or maybe he's like a scientist. I put a lot of like sciencey stuff, like planet type stuff around, some rocket ships, some robots, like maybe he designed some, you know, rocket ships, or he's part of like the whole rocket science crew. So I don't know, I just thought it was really cute, and it was just something that like I feel like I was able to put a little bit more detail into when it came down to this room, because just like some, like, it's also something that I didn't do like at Brightchester. You know, everybody kind of had like a theme, and so it was nice to be able to do this like more rocket science theme and kind of like cater to that student a little bit more as a whole. So over here in this little windowed area, I decided to put this little couch. It's like a sectional couch, and I ended up putting it, I think, in almost all of the rooms, but some of them I decided not to, because I needed a place to put the mini fridge and the microwave, and so I ended up putting that there. but I think it's really good because it lets the light in. But then I also realized that I needed to add a curtain, so you are going to see me add kind of like a pull over curtain, like maybe they pulled it over during the day so the light can get in, but at nighttime they can pull that curtain over and it just kind of divides the room, makes it dark, so they can sleep and they don't have to worry about, getting up at like 5 in the morning when the sun is like seeping through. So the person that is sharing this room with the rocket science is somebody who I imagine is kind of like a jock, really into sports and soccer, and maybe like a part of the soccer team, and they play against Brightchester. I also imagine them to be a little bit more messy, whereas I kind of imagine the rocket scientists, like, they're probably a lot more clean and organized, because I imagine that you would probably have to be that way. I don't know much about rocket science, but I know that you probably have to stay a little bit more organized. So yeah, I definitely clutter up this room a whole lot, and I go ahead and I add those curtains in. I tried to add dividers in front of everybody's little dresser, because I don't know, it just adds a little bit more privacy, especially with those open windows. I just thought that like they would probably definitely for sure want something to like close off. I mean, of course they could like close the curtain, but I don't know, I'm really like big about privacy, and especially like when I'm like sleeping and kind of in that mode, like I want privacy. I want to be like left alone. I want things to be dark. I don't want people like looking at me or walking by my window. I think it's just so weird. It's so weird to me. We used to live in an apartment complex, actually our very first apartment, and we had huge windows in the front of our house and these glass sliding doors that went out onto a front patio, and it was so nice. But we lived we lived really close to the model apartment that they would show off, that the people who own the place, they would take like prospective renters to this model apartment and kind of show them around. And we lived really close to that, but everybody had to pass our apartment to get to this model apartment. And so we constantly had people walking back and forth in front of our house, and I always like to have the windows open. It was just really awkward. I don't know. Are you guys like that? Are you really weird about privacy like that? I mean, I know it tends to differ from person to person, but I guess for me, like, I don't know, I like a distance. So anyways, I'm sorry guys, I keep rambling on. Anyways, moving on, I kind of imagine that this area right here belongs to two artists, whether they're painters or, I don't know. I added 2 easels in here just because I kind of pictured them being two like painters and artists. But I actually clutter up this room quite a lot, and I think that it would be good for 2 painters. I was kind of thinking that like maybe somebody did kind of like even though they were like an artist, did more of like photography, but I actually decided to do that separately. And I don't know, I just ended up cluttering it up. I kind of imagine these people to be kind of like hippies or like really free spirited, and yeah, so that's kind of what I was going for in this room. I used the same carpet as before and the same wall painting as the other one, but I just like covered up with carpets because I imagine that, they can't paint the dorm room, obviously. So yeah, I just end up like covering it up with a bunch of like colorful carpets that kind of reflects their personalities a little bit. And then I throw this hanging up on the wall. I wanted to be able to add like a radio in here, and because I don't know, like, I used to draw all the time when I was young, and I always loved to listen to the radio when I was just like drawing and kind of just get lost in my thoughts. And so I kind of imagine that's what they do. They just like turn on the radio and they just listen to music and kind of get lost in their thoughts a little bit and just start painting. And they've got their incense holder on because I just added the incense holder on there. So yeah, I don't know. This is a really fun room. It's also like the only room that I did where the people in the dorm rooms were not complete opposites. I love to make opposite dorm rooms, but sometimes I just love that aspect that they have the potential to be, pretty alike. And I feel like it is realistic to have like an opposite dorm room person because you don't know exactly who you're going to get matched up with. But I also like to think that some colleges probably put like students together for a reason, So yeah, that was kind of like in my mind, that was what I was thinking. I think it's about this spot where I realize like that we don't have bathrooms, or maybe I haven't realized it yet, but I know that I'm getting close to the spot where I'm like, oh, poo. We don't have a place to go poo. So, yeah, I don't know. I actually just like added onto the back of this building because I didn't want to change anything with it structurally. And I thought for a minute, like, about building an extra building, but how much of a pain would that be if you got up in the middle of the night and had to use the bathroom and you had to like walk outside? Like, this isn't like the 1800s anymore. Like, we have bathrooms, we have plumbing. So, and I feel like these are kind of, I don't want to say like super luxurious, but they're nice apartments, you know, or they're nice student housing. So I feel like they would definitely have bathrooms attached to them. Now, I did only put, it's like a single bathroom, so it's not a bathroom that you would necessarily share, which does kind of stink because there are 4 people in here. But I kind of imagine too that maybe there's like some kind of schedule that they're able to just, you know, work around between the 4 of them, and they're like, okay, well, I have to be in class this time, you can, you know, use a shower at this time, those kind of things. At least that's how I imagined it in my head, basically, because I didn't have the room to make separate bathrooms. I don't know what I was thinking. I don't know, because I feel like I had thought about it at one point while I was building. I had thought about where I was going to put the bathrooms, and I don't know. I guess it just totally slipped my mind, but I don't know. I feel a little bit silly for that. So yeah, this is the bathroom, and basically this bathroom is the same as the one upstairs. I mean, almost exactly the same. I didn't add too much extra clutter or anything, just because I imagine it has to be kept clean. I imagine that they have kind of like a dorm mom or a dorm dad or student housing dad that like comes in and they check just to make sure everything's in order, that they're keeping the place clean, that, you know, kind of like there's a maintenance person at all times, that way in case anything happens, or, you know, whatever the case may be. I imagine that there's somebody who is just around kind of helping to look after the dorms in particular. I keep calling them dorms, but the student housing. So we actually, I think I've mentioned this before, but I actually live in a small town, and we have a smaller branch of Ohio State University, and we had just built, I mean, probably about 2 years ago, if that, these new like student housing areas. And I was really looking over the floor plan, and it was really interesting because so their like main area is a separate building from the student housing, which I thought was like really unique, and that's kind of where I got the idea to separate the 2 buildings. But if you, like, I was looking at some of the floor plans, and I wouldn't say that it's completely based off of that, because it's totally different kind of build. Those look more like apartments, and it's really interesting because they have like these 4 small rooms where you would put, you know, maybe a bed, a dresser, a nightstand, and then there's like within the 4 rooms there's like a common area, so with a kitchen, so they can come out of the rooms. I mean, it's basically an apartment with 4 bedrooms, which I think is like really, really cool. Which is another reason that I really wish that we could have stoves. You know, I get not being able to have them in the dorm room, but we should be able to have them in like student housing, because I don't know, I just feel like it's more realistic. Like, obviously, you know, if you're living in a student house, you should be able to cook, you know, like that's the point of living in a student house. But I don't know. Anyways, I had a lot of fun like looking through those and looking at the different floor plans of them. It was really unique, and this is what this kind of reminded me of. There's like 4 bedrooms, and they're kind of all attached together, but the common place, unfortunately, is in a different building. Now, this place had like a shared common place, but their like rec area, so like they had like a gym, and like the member info or all that info was in a separate building, kind of like how I made on this build. I don't know if that made sense, because yeah, but it makes sense in my head. So yeah, that's where I kind of got the idea to have like a separate common area, and I really liked how the buildings kind of like fit together. They turned out really, really well. So over here, I kind of imagine that this person is probably a snooty girl. She likes all things pink, and she probably comes from a lot of money, and I imagine that she stuck up this, or even if she doesn't like come from a lot of money, I just imagine her just being like kind of more like snooty, like, oh, this won't do. And so she puts up this like pink wallpaper that's like the really easy like peel off kind, and she just wants her room to like reflect her personality, and she wants everything to be cozy and like comfortable to her liking. So yeah, I just imagine that she likes all things pink because I like all things pink, and it's just really fun to like add that kind of aspect in here. I also use this white, it's a black screen with polka dots. I just think it like complements the pink so well. It looks so cute. And then I put these little pink rugs in here because I imagine she was probably trying to just get rid of the blue and completely cover the blue. And then over here beside her, I put kind of more of like a plain student. And by plain student, I just mean like maybe there's not that much of a distinguishable set of characteristics with this student. Maybe she just, you know, I don't know exactly what it was I was going for over here. It's just, I don't know. The whole goal for this room and in the other room is I feel like I wanted to have kind of a space where you could move your Sims in and kind of make your own. And so that's what I was going for the 2 rooms upstairs. I wanted a place where if you were going to place these down, you could get your students and you could move them right in here. So you'll notice that like with this room where the camera is, I imagine that person's like a photography student, and next to them is just pretty much empty. So that's all up to you. It's all customizable. You can just go in and put whatever your sim needs to make them happy. So, but yeah, over here, I kind of imagine girls on top and boys on bottom, but it's whatever you want it to be. So yeah, pretty much I am done, other than I just basically take the bathroom and replace it, and then I go back. Yeah, I probably should have just like copied the whole room, and then I go back outside and work on that. So yeah, I don't know. I hope you guys enjoy this build so far. I spent a lot of time on it and I really, really like it. So I don't know. I don't know what to talk about anymore. I've kind of like reached that point in the video where I've like run out of things to talk about. Yeah, anyways, I kind of toy with the outside of this apartment a little bit. I was messing with that roof area and I really wanted to kind of move it out of the way at first, but because I have 2 columns there and I really like the way the columns are, I couldn't move them. So I ended up just leaving them, and then here I am just kind of like working on the outside. I add like an extra gym in here because that was another thing that, aside from the bathrooms, I was really just thinking to myself like, man, I really want to have like an attached gym, because when I was playing both times, both of my Sims gained so much weight. I mean, they were definitely overweight, and I didn't have like an access to a gym. I mean, they could go jogging, but it didn't really help much. And so I wanted a place where your Sims could go that was like close by, that they could like lose some weight and get some fitness in. And there's also like a student here that is like more of an athlete, so there's plenty of things for them to do because there is a gym, and there's also a basketball hoop outside. So moving outside to the front here, I just kind of stick a pathway, and then I use these little, I think they're like a decorative part of the fountains, and I just colored it like a tannish color, and I just lined them up against the sidewalk just because I felt like it made a good defining line between where the sidewalk ended, and I don't know, just adds a little bit more of that modern touch. I didn't do too much landscaping outside, to be completely honest, because it is modern. I didn't want to like fill it up with a bunch of greenery around me, and I know that sounds like kind of silly, because just because it's modern doesn't mean there's like greenery, or there's not greenery, but I don't know, I just feel like it's a little bit more clean and cut. So then I decided to put a whole bunch of bicycles outside, like maybe they ride their bike over to campus, and I wanted a place for your Sims to be able to stick all of those. And then I kind of like mess around with the sidewalk again. I changed the colors, and I think this color looks so good, because here's the thing, this build has been all about contrast for me, like especially with the building with the, you know, the white walls and the black windows, and then the sidewalks, and there's just so much contrast, and I just think that it looks so good. But anyways, guys, we are coming close to the end of this video. I made it. See, I did find things to talk about. I'm surprised. Usually, well, I mean, I'm not surprised. Usually I don't run out of things to talk about. Usually I'm like at the last minute, like, okay, I'll talk to you later, bye. So yeah, anyways, we are coming to the end of this build where the screenshots are. I hope you guys enjoyed this. You can download this on the Sims 4 gallery under my ID, Mindii1990. And don't forget to subscribe to my channel if you like it, and check out all of my social media pages. And I am currently doing a giveaway, and you still have time for Discovery University, so be sure to hop on over to my Twitter account, linked in the description down below, and share that original post. And yeah, you will be entered in a giveaway. So yeah, I will there's about a couple more hours left on the giveaway, so you still have time. So I will talk to you guys all later. Bye.
We are two wanderers at dawn of the world full of war. Early sunrise, I gave promise. You said always, and we run and dance. I'm following, I'm preaching in my church. I'm here, and yeah, you're my Eve, I'm your eye.